All right, so let's go to phase number two or stage number two for the five-stage interview model process. This brings us to stories and strengths. This is really where you want to dig into and talk about kind of why the person is there. And of course, in our case, we're looking at specific case studies for young people, right? So for adolescents. So let's go with the example of the young person is there because they're trying to process and work through their parents' divorce, right? And so what you want to do in this particular stage is dig into the story. And also elicit strengths. So as you learn about their story, you're listening to hear on things that you would identify as strengths that that person has. Because the idea, and this is actually a theoretical model, we haven't dived into this too much in class, but it's solutions focused therapy where you're looking for strengths that people have, how they can help to use those strengths to address the situation that is at hand. So let me give you an example of that because it kind of sounds like an abstract concept, right? So the example that I would give you is like as they're talking about their parents' divorce, you're asking kind of, how recent this is, just general information. How have they been processing this? So this is where you're digging from your questioning skills. So making sure that you use closed-ended questions appropriately to clarify details, but you're using open-ended questions to prompt reflection because you want to reflect with them about how has this, recent separation of your parents impacted you. So questions like that give them an opportunity to share about their feelings because you want them to not reflect only upon content about, the details, the particulars of the situation, but about how is that making them feel. And then another question that you would want to ask is, what are you doing around how you're feeling. So it's not only it's really about their thoughts, how they're thinking about this, how they're feeling about this, and then what are they doing about this. So if that's helpful for you, again, those are helpful things to think about that you want to explore. And this could be, again, I'm just using the example of the divorce situation, but it's any situation. So they've been quarantined at home for 14 days. What are your thoughts been about that? How are you feeling about that? And then what are you doing? What are the actions that are in response to your thinking or your feeling? Because that's really what you want to explore with them and help them to process. So this is, again, as you're going through this and you're asking those open-ended questions that prompt their reflection. The other thing you're doing is looking for strengths. So if they say, I've been really stressed out about my parents' separation, but I've been spending, extra quiet time praying about this. And, for me, my faith is a big support. So you're looking for those kind of things. It could be their faith. It could be, I've really connected with my friends. I have a good friend who I can talk to. I can't talk to a lot of my friends. I don't trust them. But there's this one in particular that gives me good advice, not just tells me what I want to hear, but, helps me to process. So you're looking for those strengths, those resources that can help as you're working with this person to address that particular issue that they're dealing with. So that's what stories and strengths is really all about, is helping to ask questions that prompt reflection and then identifying not just the details about the story, but the strengths that that person might have and calling those out, not just saying, okay, so tell me about that friend of yours who's really a resource. I think that's a person that, it's great that you've made that connection with them. And those are the kind of things that are helpful, that tend to help people deal with difficult situations or circumstances. And so really being able to call that out. And that's where you go to summarizing, right? And that's where you go to paraphrasing, those skills that you can utilize so what I'm hearing you say, right, is that friend is a significant support to you, right? So these are where you bring those skills to the forefront and utilize them, particularly in this stage.